Hello, everybody. Welcome to Laser Focus. This is the deep dive pop culture podcast from Nerdist. My name's Kyle Anderson. Thank you for listening. This week, I'm joined by an old friend of mine, a coworker. We haven't worked together like consistently for quite a while, but I still consider her a friend and coworker for that purpose.
Well,
Long
yeah,
ago,
I went to
things
your
happened.
freaking wedding. I was at
I
your
know,
freaking
wild, right?
wedding.
You
Yeah.
did, yeah. Not everyone could say that. So, yeah, that
Yeah, I
voice
win.
you do. That voice you heard is internet celebrity. You know her from Dimension 20 and Breaking News on Dropout TV. You can now also see her as the game master of Goblin Mode, the new series on podcast and video that Geek and Sundry has produced, which you can watch now on Geek and Sundry's YouTube or listen to via Realm, anywhere you get your podcasts. Welcome to the show, the purple-haired Amy Vorpahl.
It's me.
Hey,
Hi,
it's
Kyle.
Amy. Hi, Amy. How are you?
I'm really great. I love that purple hair made it into this audio format. So everyone just has a picture of what they're looking
You
at.
need to know it because I think,
Yeah.
like, you know, I look
It's doing some
over.
heavy lifting for my personality. Let's just say that.
I want everyone to know this is how I am right now.
Yeah.
You definitely, you know, people who are only listening to Goblin Mode or only listening to this is the only way you can do it, but
Mhm.
are missing out because I've looked over, you know, some of the footage of the shows, and you have different costumes every week and
Oh,
hats
yes.
some weeks and stuff. It's
Yes,
very
and
nice
the
and fun.
makeup the looks, are done by our friend, Cece Anderson,
Mm.
and boy, does she go nuts. We get more and more experimental as the time goes on, and it is bonkers. It's glam, but also it's just experimental glam based on what's going on in the episodes, and I love it so much, and I wish I could just walk around, like, every day, be like, "Okay, I'm thinking, like, steampunk chic. Could we do steampunk chic?" You know? But that it winds up taking a lot of time. Anyway, they let us really go nuts because, as it turns out, a game master doesn't have to look any certain way.
It's true, but I mean, let's dive into Goblin Mode. So Goblin Mode just came out. This is something that y'all shot back in April of this year. It's been
Mhm.
a long time in the works. But you know, what can you tell? The first episode's out now. What can you tell people who haven't watched or listened to it yet? Like, what is it, and
Yeah.
what can they look forward to?
First of all, I'll tell you, it is Sagas of Sundry Goblin Mode
Correct.
because,
Yeah,
yeah, it's a
we
contin
internally we've just called it Goblin Mode forever. So you're
Yeah,
right. It is
yeah, we
Sagas
and
of Sundry : Goblin Mode. Yes.
that's it. Yeah, you just have to differentiate because I think, the meme of just being in Goblin Mode, different companies have formed different shows, whatever, but we're Sagas of Sundry Goblin Mode.
Yes.
So what you can expect is these the entire premise of the show is based around these player characters. All three of them are minions in an evil overlord's lair directly after that lair has been decimated by who would naturally be player character adventurers. So in the show, we call them gallantlings so that we don't differentiate between good guys and bad guys because our minions are good guys because
Mm-hmm.
they're the protagonists of the show. But their entire home, as they know it, has been cleared out. And up to this point, these three have had jobs that are similar to what you would see in a video game. I call them video game code because they're the soldiers who walk back and forth on a timer, or they're just supposed to hang out until a trigger happens in a room, like just be hidden until something triggers. So they don't have much agency, and throughout the campaign you'll see that actually, in fact, when left to their own devices, the decisions they make, for good or bad, are very authentic to who they
Mm-hmm.
actually are. That's
Well,
what I'll
and
say.
that's a fun, like, you know, obviously don't want to give it. So the players in the game, you have Dan Casey, of course, who people know. We have Jason Wynn, and we have Danielle Radford, and they are all very funny people. But is it sort of like, as a game master, you're trying to set this world and everything like that, but like they, you know, they say some stuff because they're bad guys essentially, or they're, you know, villainous type of characters.
Yes.
Like, how do you like account for them because they're Their characters are wild and crazy people.
Yeah, the shenanigans. You mean how I shenanigan, how I handle shenanigans?
How do you react
Uh,
to shenanigan with your own
I will
shenanigan?
say yes. That is the job of a game master.
Sure.
Everyone thinks that it's knowing the rules, and it's not. The main job is being a referee or a cat wrangler. But I guess the main way I handle it. Look, I'm here for. I think the entire premise lends itself to. I won't say rule of cool, but it does lend itself to cartoon rules. You
Mm,
know, like if you can do cool stuff, like maybe that is what some people mean by rule of cool, but there is this like jauntiness until I will say when they do push the boundaries, it is my job and it does happen that I do deliver consequences.
right.
So that's how I curtail them. I'm like, well, if you want to, if that's really what you want to do, it's not like I hadn't thought of the consequences before and
Sure.
I'm punishing them. It's that, yeah, they make some crazy, it's, look, they're little babies in the world. They have never left the dungeon
Hmm.
and they don't, and things kind of work out their way until they don't. And they're looking for where the line is. And, like a good mother, I tell them where the line is, or I show them where it is with consequences. But for the most part, their shenanigans are in line with their own personal narrative story, and that I think actually deserves to be rewarded
Mm,
because when you have people playing their story and their character so hard, like in the way that these three do, um it really, you just want to honor it. You just want to honor it really, really well.
yeah. But that is true. But they also try to get you to do some questionable ass voices sometimes, and that is my favorite part.
Oh,
Like some
I
of those are
know.
offensive, and let's see if Amy does it or
Oh,
not.
that's right. Oh,
Yeah,
that's right. I know what you're
it's
talking
mostly
about.
Jason, but yeah, this is
It's
sort of a
mostly
tease for later.
Jason.
But Jason is
Yes.
very adept at trying to get you to do
Oh,
things
yeah,
that
to get me canceled.
to
Yeah,
get you
I
canceled,
know.
basically. Yeah.
He, I will, uh, well, after, for those of you who have listened to the first episode, you'll probably be able to infer what we're talking about. But that does get, I would say resolved in a fun way later as well.
Hmm.
Yeah. E-
It's it's a delight. I've gotten to listen to several weeks ahead because I'm kind of helping Matt Karen, our editor, QC them, and it's just been so fun to like
Oh, the
listen and just be
audio
like,
that he does is bananas. Like the
yeah,
elevation, the absolute, it's so cinematic to listen to. And
yeah,
I'm so excited for the audience to just experience what we experience and for me to experience too, because I only know what we played. I don't I'm surprised every time I listen that it's like, "Oh my gosh, holy cow, you made the thing happen in that way, somehow with just audio." We're just four people sitting around a table, not
right.
to mention when there are five people and there's special
That's true. There's special
guests.
guests too.
There's
Yes.
special guests that I'm so excited for. But yeah, you were sitting around the table. We're all using our theater of the mind to imagine what's going on. And then you hear what Matt can do with audio, and you're like, oh, we're making a movie. We're making a little movie. That's so cool.
Yeah. And if anybody, well, I don't know how many of you listening out there know Matt Karen. You probably know him for some of his videos, and he's been our longtime video editor for a long time. But he takes so much pride in making sure that the audio, like the sound effects, are absolutely perfect for what is, like, and like you said, cinematic. Like it feels like a big thing you're watching. It feels like a
Yeah.
radio program, even though it's just people kind of improing and playing a game. So yeah,
Yeah. I'm really proud of what we came up with. I'm really proud. I hope everybody watches it. And I won't even say I hope they like it, because if you watch it, you'll like it. I'm pretty positive.
I'm confident. I think
Yeah.
so. I think that's correct.
Yeah.
Um, Well, yeah, we'll plug that again at the end. But
Okay.
so as this is laser focused, we do like to talk about stuff that we are nerdy about and nostalgic about, and a few weeks back we did a whole episode about Animorphs, the books and the show, which is kind of fun.
That weirdly has, okay, so I also am a writer for actually on Dropout, and I write, little statements for nerds to correct out loud, where they get to be right and pedantic. And every season that I've written for it, everyone's like, "So, are we going to do an Animorphs episode?" So I just want to say that Animorphs has been in the zeitgeist, and weirdly, it's been this like niche thing that so many people are obsessed with. That
Yeah,
I couldn't say I'm obsessed with it. I definitely read the books, but at some point, I just figured the fandom died out, but no, it's alive and strong.
Yeah, I think, what did we say in the episode? Ty brought up that like somebody put all the PDFs of all 54 books out on the internet for free, and the author was like, "Great, go read them." Like, did not care at all. Like,
Good.
Scholastic wanted to take them down, and she's like, "Don't, just let people read my books." Like, because they're all 20, 30 almost years old. Like, there's no reason to hide
Yeah.
them, especially during the
I love
pandemic. So
voluntarily public domaining
yeah,
your
it's my
opus,
stuff. I can do
really.
what I want.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think that's
yeah.
great. But yeah, so we are going to talk about stuff that we grew up with, and in this instance, Amy wanted to talk about formative Disney films specific. And you mentioned musicals, but also like I think the animated ones for the most part are the ones that kind of spoke
Yes.
to us. We both kind of grew up in the Disney Renaissance
Yes.
era. But like, even as young as like, I think the first movie I ever remember going to go see was a reissue of The Fox and the Hound, which,
Oh my
I would have been
god.
like 3 or 4 or something like that. So like,
Oh my god, my heart. When you're
yeah.
the best of friends.
Oh, that got it. I can't remember. It's do something, something together. Yeah. They don't
Uh,
even know. They're not even, we don't have the
they're
rights
not
to this.
even aware they're such a funny pair. You're the best of friends.
Yeah.
Life's a
That's,
happy game. I could
yeah,
go on.
we could too. So I used to have, I don't know if you had these too. They used to have like tapes, audio cassette tapes of storybook versions of the movies, and they used a lot of the same, like someone would narrate, but they would mostly use audio from the movies, and there would be like a picture book to go along with it. I used to
Yes.
listen to those until they literally broke. Like I
Wow.
and often they would have
I had the ones
songs.
that had the buttons on the side, which were
Oh
not
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. The
yeah,
like
which
yeah. They were
I
like
or
numbered and colored buttons that
what
would
are
have
they? They were called like silver-sided or golden bound.
yeah,
Do you know
well
what I'm
there were the
talking
little
about?
golden books, which I think
Little
might
golden
be
books that yeah, maybe that's what I'm
different or
talking.
something like that, but
They are different. They are different. Never mind.
yeah.
But yeah, the Disney
Yes.
ones with the buttons on the side where you could be like, Timon and Pumbaa or like Hakuna Matata, and you could just
Yeah.
press the button.
There would always be on these ones would be like you'll know it is time to turn the page when you hear the chimes ring
Oh,
like
the
this.
chime.
Brrring, and it was
Yeah,
great. And then
magic,
sometimes
magic.
later on it would have different noises. Like I remember the Jungle Book was a jungle bird, and it was just a guy going "Brrrr," and like
Oh my god,
they were so low rent,
amazing.
and yet I love them so
I
much.
know, I know. They felt like magic in your hands. But yeah,
Well, so,
Fox and the Hounds. I remember. So I had me and my sisters. I have 3 sisters, and we all grew up. I have a twin sister, a sister who's a year and a half younger than me, and then a sister who's 5 years younger than me. So we're all fairly close in age. And we had this poster that had all the characters in a line, starting from the first animated film all the way to I think it ended with A Bug's Life. That's where
oh wow,
so
okay.
yeah, that's where we are in history. But it included Buzz and Woody. But I think it started with Snow White,
Hmm.
maybe, and the Seven Dwarves. Um, I might be getting that wrong, but
No, that's correct.
yeah,
Well, I don't know
that's
about the
like
poster, but that's the first one.
yeah, but that like image stays in my mind. It's all the characters in chronological order standing in this line that zigzags across the poster. And we liked it so much because it just I don't know where that poster is now, but yeah, it feels extraordinarily formative.
Mm.
Where it's like these were all very important to us.
Yeah, it is wild, especially because like at that point, you know, the Disney Renaissance didn't happen until 89. It didn't start until 89 with the Little Mermaid, but I feel like, both of us are older than that. So like we know
Yeah.
about sorry, I didn't mean to out you, but
No, I'm
um
39
I'm
at the
40.
time
I
of this
just turned 40,
recording.
so
Oh
yeah.
yeah, same age. Okay,
Yeah.
great. It is weird to think about having kids and which I don't, but like if I did and showing them some of these movies, like
Yeah.
what would be going through their heads? Would they enjoy it as much as I did? Would they need something a little more CG,
Yeah. Well, the pacing on a lot of them too, like The Fox and the Hound, for example, is a very slow paced movie. Like it's very
It's
quiet
dark. Yeah.
and dark. Yeah. Fighting the bear and everything like that. And it's about prejudice, I guess. Like ultimately, like you
Oh,
two shouldn't
yeah.
be friends because you're different from each other. And like,
Right.
which is probably stuff I didn't realize at the time, but
No, yeah, life's gonna separate you, but God, it's so sad. Oh my gosh. And then the big mama owl.
mhm.
Well, we could just start listing characters. But
Yeah,
I
in
I had
chronological order.
I did have a story to tell you about. I don't think I'm the only one alive who like basically had their sexual awakening based on some characters from Disney, whether they were
Sure.
anthropomorphic animals or humanoid,
There's a whole thing online about women who had their awakening with Robin Hood, so I get it.
Robin
Like
Hood,
the
yeah, the
the
fox. Oh my
fox,
god.
yeah.
Hello. That was incredible. I was like, "Hello, who are you?" And he was so smooth and cool
Oh,
and
yeah.
got made merry and yeah, Robin Hood. I just heard a friend of mine, Caro, she said that Scar was hers and I was like,
Oh, boy.
"Wow. That's a that's interesting."
Yeah.
I think that's something to tell a therapist. No, no judgment. Only a little judgment. But yeah, if someone had said like, "Oh, Timon was my sexual awakening," then I'd be like, "Hey, what's going on over there?"
Yeah, well, are
But
you okay? What's going on?
but Scar does have this commanding presence that I get. He's giving daddy. That being said,
Interesting.
yeah, my awakening, or
I
there was
bet it's
something
gonna
that
be really
happened.
normal. Everyone at home, just we're
It
gonna be in
is
this together. It's gonna be super normal. Okay, please go ahead, Amy.
it is humanoid, so it is
Okay.
more normal than not. But it didn't happen watching the movies. It happened one fateful trip to Disney World. I
Uh-huh.
think I was 12 or 13, and I was going around getting everybody's signature, all the
Oh,
characters'
classic.
signatures. Yeah,
Yeah.
so fun. It's such a great excuse to, like, meet them, and they all have their fun signature, like, they've all perfected what it looks like just based on, like, Ariel's had a trident in it, or the Queen of Hearts,
Mm.
like, had a lot of hearts. So, we're walking to go see Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, to where they're stationed. So, we're walking there, and as we're walking there, feel this, like, hand start holding my hand, and it's gloved, and I turn over, I look over, and it is Dopey. And it's Dopey with the big head, you know, arguably could be a tiny woman inside of there, like, we'll
Probably. I
never
mean, who
know.
knows? Yeah.
But that hand holding, we held hands the whole rest of the time to their station, and I was blushing the entire time, and it was just like, "Oh my god, Dopey likes me. Oh my gosh." 'Cause, you're 12 and you're like, "What? I don't understand
Mm.
boys," and, like, there's some people have girlfriends, but what does that even mean? And some people have boyfriends. You're like, "What?" And Dopey was holding my hand, and I was like, "Oh my god, like, there's a picture of me just, like, full on hunkering, like, as if, like, like, the blushing was happening full body, and I just remember that so vividly, and now it all makes sense because of my obsession with hobbits, and,
Mm.
uh, like, there's just I just love hobbits so much. And then I later had an obsession, built a couple of shrines to 2 actually different people. One was Luke Skywalker and one was Frodo. And when I say shrines, I mean, like, oh, what do you think of shrine? Like, lots of pictures. I made a mural of pictures using,
Mm.
like, an entire thing of poster board, and each picture was half the size of a 3 by 5 index. It was, like, many pic I used a lot of printer ink making these things.
Look, I can't sit here and say I didn't print out a lot of pictures of girls I liked when I was in school. Like,
Yeah.
not
Okay.
not people I knew, but like Buffy the
Yeah, yeah.
Vampire Slayer and stuff like that.
Right.
Look, it if you're not spending printer ink on that, you're really you're
Thank you for validating my
of course.
experience. Yes. So, that was my dopey story. And
Yeah.
like, the weirdest thing, like, this guy, he had a big old plastic head. Like, as far
Yeah.
as attractiveness goes, probably not no one else is having this experience, let's just say that. But it was the hand holding that I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh my god."
And in retrospect, like how do they get away with that? You know what I mean? Like not that they shouldn't do stuff like that, because that is something that like a lot of kids really remember forever. Like,
Yeah,
I had
yeah.
this moment with this character and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
I
like,
did feel chosen.
right, yeah. But that was years ago, and I wonder if they have different rules now. I don't know.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you're right. 13. Yeah, that's 26 years ago.
Oh boy.
Oh my gosh.
By the way,
Of
Dopey with
course.
the Big Head is my favorite Beyonce song.
Toby with a big hat. Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
good
that
one.
should go on some playlists, honestly.
I think so.
That's
Disney
great.
playlist. Um,
Did you have a female
I'm
version of
trying to. I of course like. There was a certain point when I remember realizing like, uh, I mean, I think it might have the first one might have been Rogue from the X-Men.
Okay.
But then also like Jasmine and Belle and like they drew them real hot, especially like in that era.
Yeah, they
Um,
sure did.
and that was true for both like heroines and heroes. Like they were just
Yeah,
super studly looking people.
they sure
Um,
were.
but I do
Although
I think
although
that was were the ones.
I'm not the only one who thinks this either, that the Beast in human form and the way they drew his lips is terrifying.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
They tried to
like it
make him too like
Adonis.
magazine model like it just like
Yeah.
that's not what a person looks like. It's really weird.
Yeah, yeah, his little puckered lips, I will never forget that, and the way that he comes to life and, like, light shoots out of his wrist,
Yeah.
I was like, "Ew, yucky, Belle, run! Belle, no!"
Yeah, go back to being a beast.
Yeah.
Well, they eventually did do that. I mean, not they, but Shrek is essentially that.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Go back to being
Right, yeah,
bestial, I guess. I don't know.
he was hot as a beast, he was hot as a beast. Talk about daddy vibes. Well, not
I mean,
he
he's kind of a
eventually
bad
got daddy
boyfriend,
vibes.
though. He's pretty bad.
He was a bad boy, yeah, he was too young and immature and all of that until he did change. But yeah, I was
I,
never into Gaston, like, that never I was like,
no,
"Yeah,
no.
nice to meet you. Go away, Gaston. Toxic
He's
masculinity."
100%. I
You can
think
just
I think that is a good thing to tar him with because, like, yes, he's conventionally attractive, but also like it just has gone to his head. Like he's just.
Well, speaking of this, I don't know if you ever did, Dreamlight Valley for a while. I played
Mm-mm.
s that was like the Disney version of Stardew Valley or Animal
Sure.
Crossing. They just chose the most random characters in the beginning to lead with. So, you had like Simba and Nala and Scar. You had Ariel and Eric and Ursula, and then like Goofy and Mickey and all those people. And then they had gosh, I can't even remember her name from uh the what is it called? Bruno. I only saw it once. Not that it was
Oh,
forgettable. We don't talk about
in
Bruno.
Kanto, right? Was that what you're
Yeah,
talking about?
no, no, no. That was a different. No, not Encanto.
But
It
isn't
was
that the
like
one where we don't talk about Bruno was in? Is that what you're talking about?
no, isn't Encanto the oh maybe I'm the wrong one. What's the one with the guy who plays the guitar?
Oh, Coco,
Okay, so
the
Encanto
kid who
is
goes into
correct.
the realm of the dead or whatever.
Yeah, that was a great movie. Okay, sorry, I was getting them confused, but yes,
Yes,
Encanto, is the one I'm thinking of. They had the girl from her Mirabelle or something like that,
I've only
and
seen it once too, but
and
yes,
then they had the rat from Ratatouille, and I'm like, "Where? Hold on, we're all over the map." There's like
right.
Mickey and Mirabelle, and then Ariel, and it's like people that to me are nostalgic, but I don't know where they're getting their information
Mm,
on which ones to include here. It just seems like such a hodgepodge, and I eventually got sick of it. And also, Eric. So, oh, they had the Frozen people in there
of course
too.
they
I don't
did.
remember their names. Yeah, Elsa and the other one. But it was like, oh, Eric was not cooperative. Let me just tell you that. And I was like, Eric? Eric had zero lines. Like I think he sang a song at the beginning of the movie and then never had another thing to say. So why Eric? Like I get Ursula, I
Mm.
get Ariel, but I don't know, whatever. So they were making some weird choices, but I had some thoughts about Dreamlight Valley and who the cast of characters were. Pretty annoying.
I do wonder, like, how they decide, like, because it would make sense, presumably, for them all to just be from newer movies, but like Disney definitely goes out of its way to be like everything is great and you should watch it forever, and your
Yes.
parents and you can have the same tastes, and it's just it's an interesting sort of like deluge of things. Because I remember like when we were growing up, they would release, whenever the new movie would come out on tape or whatever. But then they would also like occasionally have like Now Sleeping Beauty's out on tape again and stuff like that.
Yeah, the
But like
vault. They would
the vault,
release it
but there
from
would
the
always be like
vault.
those middle ones from the 70s where they didn't like. I still have never seen the first Rescuers movie because it just didn't come out while I was a kid. So
Was
like
that a
I just
Disney
have
movie?
never seen. Hmm?
The Rescuers?
Yeah, I never saw it.
But that was a Disney movie?
Yeah, it was.
Oh my gosh, bizarre.
And the Rescuers Down Under came out. So I saw that one a
Yes.
bunch because that came out when I was a kid, but I never saw the first one.
Oh gosh. This isn't
Um,
part of the Disney, but did you ever see Chanticleer? That animated movie where he's basically Elvis?
uh, I hate to be an asshole here, but that's not the name of the film. The name of the
Oh, it's
film is
not?
Rockadoodle,
Oh,
but he does play
Rockadoodle.
that character's name is Chanticleer.
Okay, okay. Rockadoodle. Oh my gosh.
But
Okay,
that was
good
a Don
job.
Bluth movie, who was a former Disney animator who went off and did his own thing, and he did
I
An
love that
American
you know
Tale
this.
and Secret of Nim and
Oh,
The First
wow.
Land Before Time and Rockadoodle, and I think he also did All Dogs Go to Heaven. Like he was a
Oh my
legend
gosh.
there for a while,
Yeah, could not miss, honestly, with those
pretty
that was
much.
yeah, so I guess while we're talking about Disney movies, those all that you mentioned are, like, burned into my head as well.
Mm-hmm.
Burned in,
Anastasia,
Kyle.
he also did that one. You remember that
He
one?
did Anastasia? Oh, the music. Gosh, that people think that's a Disney movie, and I think it's because the music is so freaking good. I still sing you know what? I sung on this j on the jour on a journey to my past, that song, "On this journey to my past." I sang
Mm-hmm.
that at karaoke one night, and this girl was eating it up. She was, like, going nuts while I was singing it, and I went over to her afterwards. I was like, "Hey, thanks for the encouragement, like, good energy," and she was like, "I'm Russian. How did you know?" And I was like, "Oh, I didn't. I just sang the song that I wanted to sing." She thought I had picked like this like Russian, I mean, it is set in Russia, but I
Right.
wouldn't call it necessarily. I mean, it is a Russian tale, but it's in full American. Maybe Kelsey Grammer had a Russian accent. The end. Maybe
Yeah.
Rasputin did, but like it was. She was like, "How
Yeah.
did you
Meg
know?"
Ryan certainly did not have a Russian accent.
Meg Ryan did not, and I think Dimitri, her like love interest,
Oh
did
yeah,
not
I think that
either.
was John Cusack. He also did not.
No. So,
Yeah.
but apparently I sang that song just for her. But yeah, I still do that music it like lives rent free in my brain.
And that is such a huge part of our like the memories of Disney movies is the soundtrack albums also. Like we used to get those and just
Yeah.
sing them all the time.
I
Um
choreographed me and my sisters choreographed dances to I think every song in The Lion King. And that was our after school activity. We'd come home and be like, "Okay, we're going to go in the den." Or like and there was like this mattress up against the wall and we would just use the mattress to like do, quote stunts and choreograph and then get our mom to like record the choreographed dance to I Just Can't Wait to Be King and Hakuna Matata. Some good songs in there.
I want to say that movie or that soundtrack won album of the year or something like that, like at
I
the
would believe
Grammys.
it.
Like
Yeah.
yeah, I mean it's great, but like there's also like score on the album. Like it's not 100% just like pop hits.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Be prepared. I look,
Sure.
some Just Can't Wait to Be King, be prepared. Can You Feel the Love Tonight? We got some Elton John in there. Um, which brings me also to mention Tarzan, which
Mm.
was almost exclusively well, it was Phil Collins and then an NSYNC popped in there for a hot second on that
Yeah,
album.
but yeah, Phil Collins wrote all the music to it. Um
Yeah.
which is pretty rad actually.
It is
That's a
really
good
cool.
I don't love that movie, but I love that soundtrack. I think it's great. And
I
that was
really
when
liked it too because
yeah.
we didn't I don't think I was used to oh, wait, I have my favorite Disney song that I'll bring up, but I wasn't used to music that a human sang who wasn't a character in the film, which that was a lot of Phil Collins was like it was almost like not background music, but the character wasn't. Glenn Close
Right.
sang that bit of it, but then everything else was like it was Phil Collins singing it.
Yeah.
Like Can You Feel the Love Tonight did that. But at the beginning,
Yeah.
the characters were singing it, you know?
Yeah, that's an interesting because that has really kind of they tried to bring it back and they've tried time and time again to bring it back to where the characters are the ones who sing, but like there was a period of time when I think they were trying to get away from that, or like they thought it was silly for the characters to sing. Like
Yeah.
they don't do that as much anymore.
I'm thinking of Randy Newman in Toy Story because nobody
Right.
sang in that movie. But Randy Newman, I think, can get away. Have you heard some of Randy Newman's songs? Like they're they're definitely like comedy character songs. But there's one that I'm thinking of in particular. If you look up now, I will say I'll definitely look this up. Look up racist Randy Newman song. And
Okay.
okay, but I will say he is writing the song from the point of view of a dumb, like dumb character. Like he in writing this song, he is perpetuating racism is dumb and bad. It's just he does it in this way that's like, oh my god, like it's an interesting cultural study. I will say that.
Is it
Uh,
a song? Is it called Rednecks?
it might be called Rednecks. It's
Hmm.
I think it's called keeping the something down. Are those the lyrics?
Let's see.
Uh, Rednecks. Might be Rednecks.
Keeping. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Oh boy. Okay. We talk real funny down here. We drink too much and we laugh too loud. We're too dumb to make it in no northern town. We're keeping swear words down.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah.
boy.
Now it's a satire for sure,
Of course it is. Of course
but
it
the
is.
way that you go about it, you're like, so I can't recommend it necessarily, but as far as
Right.
like sociologically as a study, it's very interesting. And I didn't know anything about that
Mm-hmm.
version of his life, and obviously he wrote it in a different time. Um, Still hits, honestly, still, if you look at it from the point of view that he wrote it from, which is like, hey, racism's bad, like, great. It's just hard to, be like, hey, turn on that bop.
Yeah. Boy, howdy.
But he's just so good at getting in the mind of a character.
Yeah.
That's what's
Well, like
interesting.
infamously, his song Short People, everyone
Yeah.
thinks is like making fun of short people, but it's making fun of people who would make fun of short people. Like you're
Yes,
just looking for
exactly.
reasons to be mad at somebody. Like,
Yes, yes.
and then even the song I Love LA, which they use at Dodgers games whenever the Dodgers win. It's very,
It's tongue in
is
cheek.
LA really all that great? Like
Yes.
it's pretty crap. Or his version of LA is pretty crap. There's
But
parts of LA I like, but
now this isn't, I wouldn't say this is like golden Disney, but his princess, shoot, what is it called? How do I not know these? But the Bayou one where she's the princess and the
The
frog.
Princess and the Frog.
Those songs are great. Those songs slap, and characters sing those songs. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what? I meant to do this forever ago, but I'm going to do it now. I'm going to bring up a complete list of Disney animated films so I can just make sure that we don't miss any.
Oh, okay.
Theatrical animated feature films. Thank you very much. So we're not talking about the direct-to-DVD sequels of everything.
Oh my gosh, we are not. I am adamant about that.
Too
I'm
many.
not going to do it. Well, and also, what is there to say? Good job.
That's true.
Good job, guys. You made some more money.
So we got your Seven Dwarfs, Pinocchio. What are your feelings on Pinocchio?
Oh, I do have a feeling about Pinocchio. Okay, so my twin sister collected, when you're little and you kind of have a thing that you collect and then people know to get you that thing for Christmas
Yeah.
or whatever. Her thing was Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And I think it was because if she says that, then she knows that she's getting more stuff. Like she's getting at least 8 characters. She's getting Snow White
fair,
and the
yeah.
Seven Dwarfs. But she had really cool, like snow globes and figurines and really pretty stuff, like Christmas ornament decoration. She loved Snow White and Seven Dwarfs. We get to Pinocchio. She also loves Pinocchio. I get her one Christmas. This is after college, so we're like in our 20s. I get her a beautiful painting of Pinocchio, like just his face, like kind of a cowboy shot, middle of his chest, and background's beautiful. And I get it for her, and she goes, "Wow, thanks, Amy. This is going straight in the closet." And I was like, "Why? This is beautiful, and it's Pinocchio." And she goes, "Yeah, right. I can't have a picture of a young boy hanging on my wall." I was like, "Oh, I think you're doing too much work," but maybe she's right. She thought it would make her look like a creep if she had a picture of a young boy on her wall.
Yeah, but I'm assuming it was the puppet version of Pinocchio, right?
I mean, I can't remember. It might have been I don't I think it
There's
was
no
the
way
puppet.
they made
There's no way. Yeah, like a
that they made the
beautiful.
real boy version. No way.
Hold
No
on,
way.
hold on. Pinocchio real boy, because I think you're right. I think that would be Disney. Hold on, real boy. If I see a picture of it. Oh no. Oh my god. Oh yeah, he's no no no. It was definitely the puppet version. Definitely. Yeah, he looks weird as a boy.
Whenever
It's
they
the
try to make a
nose.
character normal looking, quote unquote,
Yeah.
a character who used to be something else, they never do a good job. It's always like
No, no,
really
you're like,
jarring.
I prefer yeah. Oh my god. Oh, it's bringing back so many memories looking at these images. But yeah, they no, it definitely wasn't the real boy, having looked at it. So yeah, I don't know. What do you think? Does that make you like creepy?
No,
Yeah,
first of
no.
all, it's an animated character.
Thank
It's
you.
also just a picture of a puppet. Like if you
So
want to be completely normal, like
also,
outside the
talk about
Disneyness
what's
of it.
recognizable. Like everyone knows it's Pinocchio. It's not like it's like I really like this picture of this young cherubic boy, and I look at him all the time. It's like that's freaking Pinocchio. It's not. Like no one's gonna be like, what is going on with Jenny
Yeah.
and young boys? It's like Jenny obviously likes Pinocchio and Disney or something.
Not a bit. No one will do that. That
No
is
one will do that. No one's doing that math. So she was whatever. But anyway, so I'm glad to hear that you think that I did a really good job giving that present.
it sounds like a really nice present
It was.
for
It
very
wasn't
thoughtful.
cheap
I
either.
I wow, Amy, it's going straight in the closet is such a not cool thing to say.
I mean, I will say that's welcome to Jenny. Like I would if I told her the story and she'd be like, yeah, that's what happened because yeah, I'm right. Like there's not a lot of filter there. She knows exactly who she is. You know what I mean?
Well, hey, I can appreciate that for
Yeah,
sure.
there's no people pleasing going on with Jenny, and God bless. Like we could all learn to be a little more like Jenny, like so candid that it actually hurts.
um, yeah. Fantasia. What do you feel? I think Fantasia's super fun.
I do
But it's
think
also
Fantasia's
not like that's not one you can rewatch. I don't think. I mean, you can rewatch it anytime as much as you want, but like it
it scared the
doesn't.
pants off of me as a kid.
Yeah.
Terrifying. Like all those brooms, I was like, "Oh my god, how are
Oh,
you
the
gonna
brooms, not the
the
winged
mops?"
skeletons, and
No,
the giant
the
demon.
over he got overrun by brooms.
Yeah, it's pretty scary.
He started duplicating and like that becomes exponential very quickly.
Hmm.
And the army of brooms and Mickey was scared out of his mind. So yeah, it was the brooms, not the skeleton.
That's very silly. I. What about the ballet dancing hippos? How do you feel about that?
um I feel whimsy about that.
Oh, okay.
That's gorgeous. Yeah, give me some ballerina. But the juxtaposition of moods that you're expected to
Yeah.
go through with the music is, I think, a lot to ask of a child. Like just the whiplash of tone is difficult.
When also just like introducing classical music to kids is a tough sell when, because the Looney Tunes tried to do it too, but like they had to sing Kill the Wabbit for, in order to get, whereas like Fantasia, there's hardly any dialogue. And what
Yeah.
dialogue there is Leopold Stokowski talking in between songs.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it wasn't yeah, that I would say that wasn't that formative, but some of those images were burned in my mind and I did have broom nightmares. So,
What about the back-to-back winners of Dumbo and Bambi?
oh my gosh. Uh yeah, I remember watching Bambi. I don't think oh god, I'm lying. I'm
Great.
lying. The rent-free thing that is there is just Thumper, you know? Thumper and Flower. Oh my gosh, as Bambi's friends, those little babies, so cute. So those are and then Bambi on the ice.
I
But
mean,
but later on
classic.
in life, people were like, "Oh, and when Bambi's mom gets shot," I'm like, "What? Bambi's mom gets shot?" Like I did that just went in one ear and out the other. I just didn't process it
Yeah. Well,
until
it's not
much
very, I
later.
mean, I wouldn't say it's graphic or anything. You just see a tree and then like you hear a noise and then his mom's not there anymore. So you're left to
Yeah.
infer.
And then he makes some friends, and so you're like, "Great." great. It sounds like you made some friends. Like, I don't think I ever really directly registered that this story was born of trauma, and instead was just like, "Oh, it's about a deer who, makes friends." Speaking of trauma, did you know how toxic the set was to animals, Milo and Otis?
Yes. Please tell this story because it's
I
terrifying
just
and
found out. I
yeah,
just
it's
found
bad.
out within the last year. They everyone died. Like, every animal that you see on screen, for the most part, died. Like, I'm being exaggerating, but they killed many kittens and many dogs, and they were just like, "Well, the cat has to fall from the tree, so just drop it off the tree." And it was like, "Great, that cat's
Yeah.
dead." And they didn't. They just were like da, 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 moving through them.
Because it was filmed in, I think, Japan, and Japan did not have any animal kind of animal rights kind of rules or regulations.
Yeah,
I might be besmirching Japan, but I'm fairly certain that's what it is.
yeah, and
Milo
also it was
and
a different time,
Otis.
but still, like the amount of animals they went
Yeah,
through,
it was Japan. Uh,
pretty wild.
let's
Wait,
animal
and you said
welfare.
Dumbo,
Yeah.
huh?
Sorry. When the film was released, some animal welfare organizations alleged to have had a number of complaints from people who had seen the film and were concerned about that it could not have been made without cruelty. Um,
Well, then don't make the film.
exactly. Uh, the same report noted that several Japanese humane societies allowed their names to be used in connection with the film, and that the film, quote, shows no animals being injured or harmed. But come on, a bunch of them drowned. Like, I think that's a fairly like, there's no
Yes.
way that that didn't happen.
Yeah, it's a fast Wikipedia to just look at the animal crimes that happened on that movie, which was devastating because that also was, I mean, we watched that ad nauseum. We just watched that over and over.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember watching that a lot. Also Benji. Do you remember the Benji movies?
I
Those were Disney
do.
movies.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah.
anyway, so yeah. So Dumbo is a fun story. A little is that it's, it's a very short movie, and it didn't cost very much to make because they basically Disney almost went bankrupt from Fantasia because it cost so much and didn't recoup its budget. So
Wow.
Dumbo saved the company, and then Bambi further saved it because it's just like a cute little story about animals and stuff. And they went back to
Yeah.
how they did stuff. But then there for a while, they were doing like these, I guess they were called silly symphonies and things like that, like where it was just kind of little shorts in
Oh, yeah.
feature film form. And then they did a couple back when the US was actually trying to have good relations with Mexico. They did a couple. One's called Saludos Amigos, and the other was The Three Caballeros, that were
Yes,
supposedly about
I remember
come to
those.
Mexico and South America and stuff.
I didn't
They,
know that it was a political reason. That's crazy.
yeah, it was like because Disney had made some, effectively propaganda movies during World War II. Like,
Mhm.
they were the US government basically was like, hey, we're trying to like shore up relations with Mexico. We should,
Can we make
make these
Mexico
movies.
cute?
Yeah, pretty much. Have Donald Duck go down and meet some birds from other parts of the world and stuff like that. So, um, but then the next like big one was not until 1950, but was Cinderella, and that kind of began the next big spate of ones. I'll just read all these in a row and then we can talk about them. But like
Okay.
Cinderella, Alice in Wonderland, Peter Pan, Lady and the Tramp, Sleeping Beauty, 101 Dalmatians, The Sword and the Stone. Then they released Mary Poppins, which of course is somewhat animated. The Jungle Book, The Aristocats, and then Robin Hood. That is a crazy span of
Oh
movies,
my gosh. All of them bangers. All of
right? Like,
them.
I feel like I watched all of those so many times when I was a kid.
I know. I that is gosh, Sleeping Beauty. I still I mean, some of these songs are just like, uh, I know you, I walked with you once
Hmm.
upon a dream, and then the Cinderella one, dream is a wish your heart makes, and then Pinocchio, when you wish upon a star. Just like, holy cow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you ran through that list. I guess it's not worth going through every single one of them, but
Well, I
yeah,
mean,
it's
we'd
like
be here all day if that were
a
the case,
sucker
but
punch.
yeah.
Yeah, of
So yeah,
nostalgia.
Cinderella, I think is that I won't say lesser. I mean, it's a great movie, but it is sort of one that I connect with the least because like the Cinderella character herself is sort of not very well defined, and kind of
Well,
Sleeping
agree
Beauty's
to
the same
disagree.
way, but
Agree to disagree because yeah, that one was I mean, Gus Gus and singing to birds. And
Sure.
like, come on. And they help her get out. They like lock her in and then she turns into a princess for a night. Look, here's the thing.
I know the story.
I know, but look, I cosplayed. Here's what's magical about Cinderella. I cosplayed as Cinderella. Sorry, Disney bounded as Cinderella into to the Disneyland parks. And the entire day, dads and moms were coming up to me and saying, "Hey, my daughter wants to say something to you." And they would just be like, "I like your hair," because I did the whole like updo. And
Mhm.
then one of their little girls was like, "Will you make it home before midnight?" And it was so cute. And that's the thing. That's the magic, is going like, "Oh, for an evening, I can just have a fairy godmother like turn me into the exact thing that I want to be, like, which is glammed out. Like, I just want to be glammed out." And I mean, let's just say it is for the male gaze. I get it, but yeah, like, uh, it's really cool. I could be a princess for an evening. So cool. And then it goes away, but at the end she does become a princess. It's so cool.
I mean, Bibbidi
They
Bobbidi
they
Boo,
reference that
pretty
they
great.
reference that they reference Cinderella in the movie about like
Schmidt.
Vanessa Williams with
Oh yeah, because she played somebody, right? She played the fairy godmother in the live action one.
what?
Isn't
Wait, am
she
I
in that
saying the
one with
right name? Hold
Vanessa
on,
Williams?
I'm talking about the tennis star.
Oh, Venus Williams.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! That's so funny. Shit. In the
That's
movie
okay.
about the
Hey,
tennis star, I got close. Oh my
that's
gosh.
all right.
But they reference it in that story. I don't I don't know. Anyway, I don't know why I'm defending Cinderella to you. I
I
think
don't. It's not. I said I think it's a good movie, but like
it was
it.
very formative for me, but I can also see how it was like leaning more towards the young girls.
Yeah, I mean, I also think that like I don't know. It's a very like I think maybe I'm just remembering or not remembering. I'm like sort of thinking about it now as opposed to the way I was then, but because I don't remember thinking. I don't think Cinderella is very well defined. Like what a dumb film critic-y thing to say.
That's so funny.
Alice in Wonderland, I think, is an absolute smash. I think that's such a cool
Yeah.
looking movie.
Well, I've got such a unique relationship with Alice in Wonderland in general because my last name is Vorpahl.
Sure,
And
of course.
the Jabberwocky poem references the Vorpal sword and the Vorpal blade. And I have taken that as my internet handle,
Mhm.
for most of my internet life. So, but I also grew up as a long blonde haired girl. And so I always was like, "Oh, I'll be Alice for Halloween." And I never was. And I don't really know why, but you needed like a blue pinafore and an apron there, maybe a
I
headband,
mean, yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
but I never
That's
did
also
it.
the ride at Disneyland that is always like absolutely packed. That one and the
Yeah.
Peter Pan ride. Those are the two you can never ride because they're always packed.
But you must stand in those lines and
Yes.
you must ride them. And the Snow White one and
Yeah.
Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
Yeah. But you can
Uh
usually get on those too because they're pretty
yeah,
fast.
that's
But
true.
like
But Peter
Peter Pan
Pan
is
is
the line is always a million years
but
long.
they've hidden little things that you can do with your phone around the line. Like nowadays they've
Oh.
got like yeah, they've got little scratchings. They're like little puzzles that
Hmm.
happen, every 5-minute line bump that you're in. It's cute.
Well, they
Worth
got to do
it.
something because those are some of
Yeah,
those,
I mean,
especially those
mostly, I
early
think,
old rides, are boring to stand in.
yeah, but I think most of it, it's just like, oh, look, do you see that carving? Okay, add it to the list. Oh, is there another? Look, a little hint about whatever. The lines are. It's like playing I Spy, so it's not like high on the interactive uh spectrum, but they did something about it.
The Peter Pan ride, I have I don't know if I've ever spoken about this, but I have a very weird love of miniature things and especially miniature scape like cityscapes. And so the fact that
Have
you
you
fly
heard
over,
of Dungeons and Dragons?
but I also dislike that game. I would rather
But if
just
you like
I
that
would honestly
stuff,
rather go to a model train museum.
oh, they've got a great one in San Diego.
Do they?
Let's
Okay, I've
go in
never gone.
Balboa Park. Yeah.
Mm. I've never gone to San Diego not for Comic-Con time.
Well, Balboa Park is next door to all of that stuff. So next time you go,
Mm.
research the model train museum. It's right there. It's right in Balboa Park. I bet it, if you're willing to walk a little bit of a distance, it is in walking distance.
Hmm.
There you go. And then also you could just look, you don't have to play Dungeons and Dragons. You could just use they've got cool miniature stuff. That's all I'm saying. That isn't about dollhouses. It's about like cityscapes and geographical landscapes too. No one
Okay.
does it better than the D&D nerds.
I'm sure that's true. But have you ever heard of Lego? Just kidding.
The extremely one for one.
Yeah. The photorealistic.
Yeah.
Lady and the Tramp, I think, is a delight.
Mhm.
Sleeping Beauty is maybe the most gorgeous animated film ever made.
Mhm.
101 Dalmatians, another fun story, because Sleeping Beauty was so expensive. They had to come up with something. So the unsung hero of Disney in the early days was this guy named Ub Iwerks. I don't know if you've ever heard that name before.
No.
UB, and his last name is Iwerks. It's a very strange name, but he was he was partnered with Walt Disney, and he was the technical guy. He figured out how to do all these things. He came up with a lot of the technology, the cameras that they used and stuff like that. And one of the things that he figured out how to do was a brand new thing called a Xerox machine. And he figured out how to Xerox drawings onto animation cells so that they did not have to spend all that time drawing, a million things and then get animation cells. He could just do it directly, which is why if you watch 101 Dalmatians, there's a lot of like pencil scratches, which is something you don't normally see in full finished animated films. And that's because it was literally, you drew it, copied it right onto the cell, and then you were gone to the next one. So it saved a ton of time and a ton of like supplies and that
Wow.
was a brand new technology of Ub Iwerks. It's a very strange name, but
Is it a short for something?
I don't know.
Huh?
Obligatory? No, probably not.
Oh yeah, it is short. It's short for Ube. Ubbe.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, born in Kansas. Duh.
His name looks like his full name is Ub Ubbe, middle name Ert ERT, last name Iwerks. His name is an anagram for something, and I just haven't figured it out yet.
Oh my gosh, yeah, his parents were like so they were doing absinthe and they were like just putting consonants
Well, I guess if your last
together.
name is Iwerks, it's like sort of, like what are we going to
Well,
name
oh
our
my god,
kids?
but and then he had children, named them Don and Dave. I bet he did.
Yeah,
Oh, his
Don.
parent. Oh my god, his dad was named Ube Iwerks. So that he was just well, what the heck is up with Ert?
Yeah.
Oh
Ert.
my gosh, we'll never know. Okay. Oh, born in Germany. Okay, so Evox. That's what it was. But
I see.
still. Okay,
Still.
great. Well, we solved the mystery. The
We
big
solved the
mystery of
mystery
this
of how it
podcast
works.
that everyone was asking.
Yeah. The Sword and the Stone is I think it's fun, but I don't have anything particularly like that
I
ties
love
my
the owl's name. I probably
Archimedes,
will be
yes.
naming my first child Archimedes
It's a pretty
because
great name.
it's a pretty great name. Not just because of it's Merlin's owl, but also because he was like a Greek, not only philosopher, but mathematician and like solved hydraulics. So
He also coined the term eureka when he came up with the theory of displacement.
wait, really?
Yeah, he got into his bathtub, as the story goes, and the water level rose because he was in it. And so that's when he realized that
Oh, I love that lore.
the theory of displacement. Yeah, it could be apocryphal, but that's what's attributed to him. And he said,
I like that.
for some reason, eureka, because he figured that out. But like, why would you just out of whole cloth come up with that word?
Yeah, you're right.
Who knows if that's true or not? It's a fun story, though.
You don't get to have two like moments of inspiration in one where you figure out water displacement and come up with a word that's going to transcend your lifetime.
And all in 1 second. Or did he go
come on. God, save some for the rest of us.
just It flowed out of me. The perfect word for this type of thing. I bet I'll use it for 7,000 years going forward.
That sounds like an old Key and Peele sketch where it was like, no, I did. I said, you'll never know what I said. I said, Eureka. I
It's the
said
first
it.
thing I said.
Yeah.
It's like, I think it's it's an Eddie Izzard bit, which was like, when Einstein came up with E equals MC squared, I'm sure he had colleagues who were like, you had E equals MC squared, I had F equals MC squared. Damn it. It was so close.
That's great.
Jungle Book is a delight.
Oh yes. Now let's
Talk
talk
about
about
music
that
on that
music.
one. Holy cows.
Oh please, the bare necessities, and I want to be like you. Ooh,
Mm-hmm.
just that's doing all the work. And the guy, he played both parts, right? Baloo was the same guy who played King whatever.
No, King Louis was Louis
King
Prima,
Louis?
like who did
Oh,
like
okay.
but he was a big band singer back in the day. Just a Gigolo.
Oh my
The
God.
original Jump Jive and Wail, I think, was him. But yeah, Phil Harris was the guy, his name, who played Baloo. He also went on to be Little John, which is basically the same character.
Yeah, actually, same face and everything.
Yeah.
Same animal too. Just
They
big old bears.
They reused a lot of the animation from Jungle Book for later things. So like literally it's the same character. They just put different things on top. They rotoscoped Little John over a lot of Baloo.
Oh, God, look at you. I love that you know all this stuff. Here's the thing. I thought when I was little, I was like, okay, I'm going to be an actor. But what I thought an actor was an adult inside of a cartoon suit moving around on the cartoons. And so I was like, I just need to get zipped up and I'll be good to go. And it was not until I think I was late. I think it was late, like 6 or 7, when I saw the making of Beauty and the Beast and they were showing people drawing it. I was like, oh, huh. So no one's getting zipped up into cartoon suits, huh?
Well, I wonder if that comes from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Because like
I don't know, because I didn't watch that movie until way later in my life. I think I was just dumb, Kyle. Because I wanted to play Foghorn Leghorn.
I was trying to give you an out, but hey, if you want to
I think I was just a little dumb baby, but I wanted to play Foghorn Leghorn. That's the role I thought I was born to play.
Who had that one on their bingo card? Not me.
I think it's because my dad was able to do that voice like verbatim. Like he was just able to, because he's from Texas, like he just was able to do the Southern drawl situation. Sure. And so I thought, oh, okay, if dad can do it, I can do it. And I don't know where, what a child's mind is going to make connections to. But yeah, I really thought I was born to play Foghorn Leghorn. That has not happened, but, and it might never. But I really wanted to be zipped up in a cartoon suit.
That should be the next thing. Let's forget this like AI thing. Stop trying to make humans into cartoons. Let's make cartoons into humans.
Thank you. Finally. Ub
Iwerks.
Come on, Ub. Figure it out, Ub.
There's also, the dancing sequence in the Aristocats. Everybody Wants to Be a Cat. So that was Scatman Crothers who played that cat. They did that 2 times now.
Who did that?
Scatman Crothers. He's the old caretaker guy in The Shining, if you've ever seen that movie.
Oh, whoa. What a pull.
Yeah. But anyway, he plays Scat Cat in the Aristocats. And so there's that part where they're all dancing. And the animation they use for the mom cat when she dances, they just lifted that to Maid Marian dancing.
That makes so much sense. I remember that. I can see that in my brain.
It's very like, I don't even know how you want to say it, but.
Have we talked about Lady and the Tramp yet?
I mentioned it, but let's talk about it fully and completely because that is a great movie.
The Peggy Lee song, he's a tramp, but I love him. Breaks a new heart every day. So that song is just in my bones. And I recently saw the studio recording. They like recorded these men doing dog sounds like, oh, 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 and like singing along. And it is delightful. So I saw that on a reel on Instagram, but it really is so cool. Look, the talent back then, I mean, we've got really talented people now. It's like they were equally talented back then. They were
Yeah.
making all kinds of voices and like coming up with how like dogs would sound singing, and Mary Poppins too, like
Mm-hmm.
that Mary makes the sunshine bright, like the cow.
Mm-hmm.
I love our happiness is blooming all around it.
That I think
Quack quack.
is a perfect movie. Mary Poppins is that used to be one of the like handful of movies when I was sick, home from school sick.
Yeah.
Like, and not just faking it, but like legitimately sick. That
Mhm.
was one of the movies that I would
It
watch
made you
because
better.
it's quite a long movie and it is just like a delight.
Well, my first AIM handle, that's AOL Instant Messenger for those of you. It was old school Discord, don't worry about it. But we my first handle was Poppins Mary.
Very good. I don't remember what
Yeah.
mine was.
You don't?
I don't really. I don't really. That's a bummer.
My sister's was Texas Chick 313. So
Hmm.
one of us was a little more creative.
Where am I from and what's my birthday?
Yeah, basically, exactly. March 13th.
That's
Nice one, Jenny. I'll be Poppins Mary over here.
I seen the movie. Um, my favorite part of the Peggy Lee "He's a Tramp" song is
Oh no.
in that same token. It's a backup dog.
Yeah.
Can you? It's the bulldog going ba bum ba bum rough ba bum ba
Bubba.
bum rough.
Yes,
It's the best.
yes. I know exactly what you're talking about. Very good.
After Robin Hood, there was this is when stuff started to slow down. So we have the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, which I won't say recently, but saw as a grown up.
Okay, yeah, I don't know that I saw, or maybe yeah, it's hard to remember. If that's the one where Tigger sings this song, then I did see it. The
I,
most
I
wonderful thing about Tigger is Tigger's a wonderful thing.
it
He
must be
pops made
that.
a
It
rubber,
must be
his
that.
bottom's made of strings. He's
Well, there
bouncy,
were
bouncy,
also
bouncy, bouncy, fun, 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 fun. Let me finish this.
please.
So the most wonderful thing about Tigger is I'm the only one. I'm the only one. There, I did it. It's so crazy when you're that age, like between like 9 and 13, stuff that you know and memorize will never leave your
No,
brain.
it's
So it's
yeah.
like if you have a child, teach them how to ride a unicycle, to juggle, play the piano, learn 5 languages, like just do it all between 9 and 13 and you'll be
Yeah.
set.
Well, yeah, because I still have like jingles from old commercials in my head. Like they will
Yes.
never leave because of that.
Puppy surprise, puppy surprise. How many puppies are inside? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Puppy surprise.
Judging by the rhyme scheme, we shouldn't have been surprised, and yet there we are.
Yeah, I know exactly.
We're
20.
surprised every time.
Yeah, yeah.
The Rescuers, as I mentioned, I still haven't seen. The Fox and the
Oh,
Hound, I mentioned at the
mm,
beginning.
yeah.
And then you have The Black Cauldron, which almost bankrupted Disney again because they
I don't think
basically
I've
were
seen
like,
that.
that one, you might actually really like it. It's high fantasy. It's kind of based on a dark fantasy kind of children's book. There's no music in it. I don't know if there's no songs in it. I think you'd like it if you like, Lord
Kyle,
of the
I don't
Ringsy
think
type
I've
stuff.
even heard of that one. I don't think I've ever even, that one has never even entered my awareness.
I never saw it until that was one of the last like Disney, of the clamshell videotapes that I remember
Wait,
getting.
wait, wait, wait. That came out in 1985. That's the year I was born. How did I see all of those other movies before?
Because Disney tried to bury the Black Cauldron because it was so dark. Like they tried
Oh,
to
it was.
go, because of stuff like The Secret of Nim and other things like that, which were a little darker. And that was the 80s was a period of time when they were trying to make kids material, or they just were making kids material darker.
Oh, okay.
Disney was also at the time they were doing like as close to horror movies as they could, like Something Wicked This Way Comes or Watch Her in the Woods. The just before that, the Black Hole, which was hey, we got to make a sci-fi movie because Star Wars is big, but the only
Oh,
script they had was
wow.
like a really dark, weird story about like that ends with everybody going to robot hell. It's not a joke.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
yeah, I really like the Black Hole. It's not amazing, but I really like it.
All right.
But that
Bit
was
of an
that was the weird
apologist over
period of
here.
time, and it took Jeffrey Katzenberg coming on board, because like right after that was The Great Mouse Detective, which I think we all sort of have a love for, but like only in retrospect, I don't think it did well at the time either.
Oh, really? Yeah, I do remember liking The Great Mouse Detective. He was awesome.
Yeah. Well, there again, it's like Danger Mouse or something like that. It's like, and I guess The Rescuers Down Under, and I'm assuming The Rescuers, where it's like mice-sized things with like, you know, holes in the wall that are like full cities and stuff. I think
Yes.
that is rad as fuck. Swear. And then so we got Oliver and Company, and then we get to the actual Renaissance: Little Mermaid, Rescuers Down Under, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, The Lion King, Pocahontas, a goofy movie people seem to enjoy.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember the point when, like, I won't say that you stopped watching Disney movies or stopped, but like the new Disney movie wasn't like the biggest thing in your life? Because I have a fairly vivid memory
Might
of
have
when
been
that was.
Bug's Life. I'll be honest. Like, I mean, the way that the poster that I envisioned at the beginning, like it did end at A Bug's Life, and I remember being like, I could take it or leave it. But I don't know what came after A Bug's Life, so I might have still been on board.
Tarzan was after A Bug's Life, Toy Story
Uh,
2, Fantasia 2000, which again didn't do that well. And this is the one, Dinosaur. Do you remember Dinosaur?
no.
Okay. They shot real like plates of jungles and stuff, like real like live action
Okay.
jungles, and then put CGI dinosaurs on it and like made a movie that way, and it absolutely bombed.
I still am gonna stick with A Bug's Life. I think that was
Mm,
when it was like, oh, well, because the ones you listed afterwards, I think I was like, look, Toy Story, every single iteration is very good. I will
sure.
say that. But yeah, as far as how much I cared about it, I think it stops at A Bug's Life. But I was like, oh, I'll go see that. Because that was also when DreamWorks had theirs come out. I don't
Yeah,
remember.
2000. Yeah, I would have been right around then.
Ant
Yeah,
Ants?
it's
Was it called Ants? Bugs?
Ants was their one.
Yeah.
Uh,
Their ants were less attractive, you
there's
know.
this whole thing on the internet now where people think that Cillian Murphy looks like the main ant from Ants, which I think is very rude.
Hold on. Hold on. Was it ANTZ? Yeah, it was
ANTZ.
ANTZ. Oh my god, though. I mean, this ant doesn't have hair, because ants don't have hair. Although who's to say? And that's so funny. I see it. I see it, unfortunately.
I think it's just the eye placement. I think that's
Oh
all it is.
yeah. Yeah. Very, very eye leading. But oh look, but the Pixar just knows how to do cute things. And I look, I don't think Ants was trying to be cute, but they sure weren't trying to be attractive either. They gave them human teeth.
Yeah.
That's where you go, what is
Yeah.
happening? Yeah, human teeth, like bovine flat teeth. Not and not that I want them to have like
Pincers.
incisors all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah. But human teeth, that's a hard one to come back from.
Also hard to come back from. The main actor in it is Woody Allen.
Really?
Yeah. Woody Allen and Sylvester Stallone are the leads of that weird ant movie.
Oh. Well, we all make some choices. That's
We sure
fine.
do.
Wow.
But yeah, I feel like, the Renaissance stuff was basically 89 to 99.
Yeah, and that's when I was a kid. What was great about that? That was when I was going to the movie theaters.
Yeah.
And it was cool because I got to go to the movie theaters. My parents didn't have to be there. I could just watch the movie with my friends. And I really enjoyed that part of it, I think. Lion King, I swear to God, I must have seen 10 times in theaters. I think that was the peak. And the only other
Yeah.
movie I've seen that many times in theaters was I saw Lord of the Rings. Well, first I saw Star Wars Episode 1,
Sure.
probably like
I saw that a
20
bunch
plus
too.
times because of the
Yeah.
dollar theater. And then every single Lord of the Rings films I saw at least 14 times in theaters, which
Okay, that is a lot of times.
it's a lot. But at one point I had all the tickets to prove it, and that's where I spent my money those years. Fine,
Just go see those movies again.
Yeah. Yep.
Man. I don't think I've ever seen a movie in the theater more than 3 times.
Yeah, me either, except for those. But and
Oh, okay.
I don't know what I don't know. I think a lot it was dollar theater. Remember dollar theaters?
Absolutely.
those were, I think that's how that's I remember every day after school, if I got permission, they let me go and see Star Wars Episode 1, which I know, look, I know it's not the best movie, but
But
for
in 1999,
oh my
you were
God,
like
and I was a
13. Like, come
kid,
on.
and,
Yeah.
and it's pod racing, come on, like, it was really dope, and, like, I'll be an apologist for that movie all day long because I think they knew their audience, and it was me, and
Hmm.
that's all I wanted to do with my free time was watch that over and over and over again.
Well, that was we've talked about it on this podcast a bunch, but like, the audience for Star Wars needs to grow or needs to change over time. Uh,
Mhm. Yeah.
and the fact that so much of it is just like people who grew up watching the original movies, like, and then they get mad if it's not exactly what they want. It's like, but you were a
Why
kid
would
and
you
you got to
tell
enjoy these things and let kids enjoy
Yeah, and
stuff.
why would you tell the same stories that you told decades ago? Come
Right.
on.
Without
Like,
any
the people
changes
we're
to
not
it.
even talking about the same things anymore. Some of them
No.
we are, some of the things are universal, but ugh, whatever.
There's room for all kinds. And I think that the fact that we have, if you listen to a recent episode on this podcast about the Rings of Power, we talked about how there's
Oh,
room for
nice.
stuff like Tolkien and also George R.R. Martin in the same, technically the
Yeah.
same, genre, but vastly different styles
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and tones and everything like that. I think there's room for all that kind of stuff. And I think
Oh, I do too.
but that's, I guess that's technically Disney now, Star Wars
Yeah,
too.
I know, it's all Disney. Like, soon we're gonna wake up and be like, HBO is Disney, Showtime is Disney, Netflix is Disney, Um, but, fine,
Mm.
let them run wild. I'm still gonna Disney bound at parks. You can't stop me. I
It
love it.
okay. I wasn't gonna, but okay.
Don't even try. I will go feral.
I like figure out when you're going, and I like
Yeah.
stake out like, if you see this
When it
woman, do not let
I
her in.
gotta I should text you my Cinderella one because I fucking nailed it. Let me just say that.
I do not doubt it.
And the morning of, I, like, played "A Dream Is a Wish Your Heart Makes" on the ukulele, and I posted that to Instagram. And this is so all the kids were coming up to me, that was great. But this is the real test. When I went to get something to eat and I had got the food on my tray, I was checking out, he said, what did he say? He said, "Cast member discount?" And I was like, "Oh, no, as it turns out, not a cast member discount, but thank you very much." So even the, like, guard not the guard,
Mm,
the clerk was confused. That's when you know.
that's when it's actually surprising they let you in because they generally don't like that.
Well, I think he knew that at least maybe I was an off,
Oh, I see. I see.
like, because I had a blue dress, but it couldn't have been it was, like, short, it was, like, above the knees, and I had a jacket on, like, I kinda looked like Cinderella, below the neck, but the above the neck part,
Yeah.
yep,
Crushed it.
crushed that.
So, Amy, do you have a favorite Disney movie? Like, maybe not even the one you've seen the most, but do you have the one that is like the dearest to your young person heart?
I will say I don't this is we actually hadn't I don't know, but
I
the
didn't
real
prompt you for this, so
no, but the real answer is I do have a favorite Disney song,
okay,
and it
song, great.
is "Go the Distance" in
From
Hercules.
Hercules? I love Hercules so much. What a good
Yes.
movie.
Yes. So that song, I learned how to play it on the piano. I still sing it. I sing the Michael Bolton version for karaoke. Like, that song is so good. I think
Mhm.
it's expertly written. It's so hopeful, and it brings tears to my eyes literally every time I hear it. So that's my favorite song. It's hard for me to say that Hercules is my favorite movie, but
Mm,
I really like that song sequence. Oh my god, we didn't even talk about Mulan. Mulan never made.
Mulan's yeah. That was
Ugh.
right around the time
Oh my gosh.
because Mulan was maybe the last. Let me look again at the list, but like,
I still, yeah, that one I did get excited for, and
no,
rightly so. I
Tarzan
really
came out after that, and then
Okay.
Dinosaur, and then Emperor's New Groove, and I had well and truly moved on by then. I was in high
Yeah.
school. I was off. I was done.
Yeah. Mulan was great. So no, I'm gonna say no. If I had to watch, you know, if I had to watch one, it might be either Robin Hood or um The Sword and the Stone, but
Mm,
maybe that's I'm very open to that being like, "Oh, that's because you just like fantasy." You know what I mean? Like, and you like
Oh,
Merlin and
sure, but
Archimedes.
like,
But
you know,
I think that sequence of the wizards fighting is I think every child should watch that
it
because
is
of
very funny. It's
the
great.
imaginative stuff that's going on there is so also, if anyone is ever gonna play D&D, you should watch that sequence of the wizards just transforming. It's
Thinking
very
outside
cool.
the box, turn into a germ and have your opponent catch you is amazing.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's, yeah, it was wild. So, but are they my favorites? I think that's just gonna have to that's gonna be tough. Beauty and the Beast, I think Beauty and the Beast sticks in my craw more than
Mm,
any other one. Like, that one
mm.
is just every song in that musical. I know high schools did that musical. I wish we had. That would have been awesome. But yeah, the imagery from Beauty and the Beast and just the story and, you know, I really I'll say that one for no
Hey,
real
hey,
reason. Like, I don't have an allegiance to any of these, and I hate picking I don't wanna pick a favorite and leave something out, but yeah, if I have to. And
I
also, I don't I love The Little Mermaid, but I think a lot of people would say that, and I just don't have that, like, it was not quite it, like, there's something missing, and I think it's the fact that the lady can't talk for half of the film.
yeah, I mean, that's definitely part of it. My little brother, who's 3 years younger than me, I think almost still to this day, he's 37 or uh, deathly afraid of Ursula. Like, he grew up deathly afraid and still kind of can't look at her. Like, it's
Yeah.
quite
I
something.
mean, I get it. She was a lot, you know, like, not but they knew what they were doing with her, like, what an icon.
Yeah. Well, the fact that they visually based her on Divine is pretty amazing.
It's amazing, it's
Yeah.
amazing.
Um, have you ever, I'm sure you have, gone on the Little Mermaid ride at Disney's California Adventure? It's one of those dark rides, but
Have
it's,
I?
storybook
Maybe.
type of
If I
rides.
have, I don't think I remember it.
They
I'm
cut
gonna
out,
go
because you go through most of the movie and you see like little animatronic scenes of, they do a big, huge under the sea sequence and all this stuff. And they do Kiss the Girl and they literally go from Kiss the Girl to the end of the movie. Like they completely cut out all the stuff.
amazing. Yeah,
Like
good.
in the background, you see Ursula like dying into the deep, but that's it. Like way
Oh my
back
gosh.
there. And it's so
Yeah,
funny
well,
to
all
me.
the exciting set pieces are in the beginning of the movie
Yeah.
anyway, so we know when Ariel can talk, how the
And
protagonist can, like, say the things that she wants.
mhm, yeah. And that's when, all the good songs are.
Yeah,
I don't even know if there are any good ones after. I guess Kiss the Girl is technically after that point. That's a decent song.
yeah.
Anyway, well, this
Anyway,
has been a fun and meandering conversation,
I know,
as
I
I
love
expected
it.
it to be. Thank you so
Oh,
much, Amy,
good.
for
I'm
joining.
glad you liked this topic and we could just, I don't
Oh
know,
yeah, I
go
mean,
down and go like, "Oh, do you have any" I
because
don't know.
as much as I have issues with the way the company Disney is run now, and probably for a long time, there's no denying the output and like
Oh,
the
yeah.
importance of those things. Just in the world of art and cinema, and just all that stuff.
Agreed.
Um, and there's so many fun stories to tell about those things. So yeah, thank you. Very good pick. Good choice.
Yay.
Amy, how can people find you and your work on the internet should they choose to do so?
Yeah, please follow me. I'm mostly on Instagram these days, but it's at Vorpahl Sword everywhere, including um, X and Twitch uh, and Threads. Everywhere that you can have a handle, it's at Vorpahl Sword. And then when you go to Instagram, my Discord community is hopping, baby. Like, we
Mm,
are a bunch of nerds and we're just hopping. So if you want to join that community, I think when this comes out, we're going to be doing a community member of mine is running a NaNoWriMo for November for specifically TTRPG adventure writers and
mm.
especially new ones who have never been published. She's just taking it upon herself to lead the charge there and get some new writers out into the world. So it's a really really active creative community. So if that's you, hop on in. And the link is going to be in my Instagram bio.
Absolutely. And also, folks, please do check out Sagas of Sundry Goblin Mode everywhere you get your podcasts via Realm and also on Geek and Sundry's newly launched or newly relaunched YouTube channel. We're back. We're going to have more stuff. I say we because I'm involved.
Yeah, Kyle, you are. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for people to see Sagas of Sundry Goblin Mode. It's excellent. It's excellent
it's
content.
so fun. It's
And
exactly yeah.
they let me do whatever I wanted. Like as the dungeon master, they were like, "You have 20 episodes. I don't know. Here are the characters. Like go nuts and like
Have a great time.
have a great time." It was so excellent. Oh my god. Yeah. So I had
And y'all
I had
were
a
shooting
blast
at like you did like 4 a days. I wouldn't like
No,
lots
we
of
mainly
episodes
did
at
2
once.
a days.
2 a
And
days.
but it was 2 a days, but they also included the after show
Yeah, that's what I was
parts
thinking.
too.
Oh yeah, we
There
didn't
was
even mention that. There's every week there's a story episode, and then also later in the week you can get like a talkback episode with
Oh,
the cast
yes.
to talk about what happened in that episode,
And
dropping the characters and
luckily
talking about stuff.
yeah, luckily we did shoot those right after the
Right,
episodes.
otherwise you wouldn't be able
So
to
we're not going,
remember.
do you remember what's going on?" It had just happened, so there's insight abounding that I'll probably go back and be like, "Oh yeah, I forgot," right now.
Yeah, you can find that on Geek and Sundry or Realm. Amy, thank you so much for joining me. I really
Thank you,
appreciate it.
Kyle.
Of course, you can follow me on Instagram, functional_nerd. You can follow me on Letterboxd, Kyle_Anderson. Thank you all for listening to Laser Focus. Join me again next week when my guest will be a different person. Bye-bye. Laser Focus is a production of Nerdist Industries and Legendary Digital Networks. It was produced, edited, and hosted by me, Kyle Anderson. For more, visit nerdist.com.